Well, we start the hour in South Sudan, where officials have confirmed that opposition leader Riek Machar has arrived in the country for the peace celebrations. It's the first time he's returned home after more than 2 years in exile. Several African heads of states and dignitaries are expected to take part in the festivities. They include the leaders of Uganda, Ethiopia, and of course Sudan, which helped to broker the peace deal signed in September. President Salva Kiir will lead the celebrations at the John Garang Mausoleum in Juba, and people have already started flocking to the grounds.
We're expecting that after the celebration of the Peace Day that has been designed by the government, things will come to normal. Things will come to normal and everything will change.
This is a day where South Sudanese can come together, gather around and reflect, on why peace is so precious to all of us, especially with our background of the war, and we need to start talking and to cultivate a culture of peace.
Well, let's bring you the very latest on those celebrations in Juba. We're joined live from the John Garang Mausoleum by CGTN's Jane Keo. Jane, indeed a big day for South Sudan, an historic occasion. Just give us an idea of the atmosphere at at the mausoleum where you are, and of course people's expectations, especially since Riek Machar is expected to arrive.
Well, Lindy, it's a carnival atmosphere here, and having covered those Independence Day celebrations back in 2011, you'd say it's kind of a replica, even in terms of the soaring temperatures. The temperatures are really soaring here, and there's lots of song and dance, which is practically a way of life for the South Sudanese people. And these are people who have literally lived through the darkest of times, war, conflict, and have barely known no peace, constant peace, even after those Independence Day celebrations or independence in 2011. So they have a song for just about anything and everything. And today, the main theme from the thousands of people who are here is that of peace, reconciliation, unity, and forgiveness, which is what this event is all about. It's about celebrating that latest peace deal that was signed last month in Ethiopia by the two rival leaders, that's Riek Machar and President Salva Kiir. Now, at the moment, we do know that Riek Machar is already here. So is Sudan leader, who is the man credited with mediating this latest peace deal. That's Hassan Omar al-Bashir. They are already on the ground. Of course, it's the first time that Riek Machar is back to Juba since he left for exile in 2016. So for his supporters, they say this is such a big deal. It's one of his commitment. They say it's a sign of commitment on his part in terms of how he wants to see the peace deal through. And of course, one of the major issues and one of the major deals one of the major recommendations under this deal is that he's going to be reinstated to his former position, that of the vice president. It may not happen today, but it will definitely happen in the near future. So for the thousands of people here, they say they are here to show their commitment to the leaders, and also to show their support, and also to say that they are tired of the conflict, they are tired of the violence. We do know that according to the latest estimates, about 400,000 people are known to have been killed. Millions have been displaced in the conflict. And so the people here say they are tired. They simply want to move on. Of course, there are still the skeptics who believe that the peace deal is just one of those that we've seen in the previous years that have collapsed in just a matter of weeks or months. And this includes some of the diplomats, including the people that we call the group that is known as the Troika. That's the UK, the US, and Norway, which actually ushered South Sudan to her independence in 2011. They refused to be a party to this deal. They refused to sign the peace deal, saying that they are still not convinced, or they are concerned about the level of commitment by the two sides. So they're waiting and see what will happen in the coming few months. And some of the people agree, because they say they've not actually seen any kind of commitment or any kind of movement since that peace deal was signed. Remember, even for Riek Machar, until recently, until last week, he had actually given a list of demands before he can actually set foot in Juba, and this included the lifting of a state of emergency, the release of political prisoners, and also what he said said was freedom for opposition parties abroad. But for the local people here, the ordinary Sudanese, they are simply saying they want to move on. They are tired, Lindy, and they say that they are here to show their commitment and their support to their leaders, that they are ready to support them and to urge them to move on and to live up to their commitments. Lindy?
Well, thank you so much, Jane. It's clear, of course, today that the sounds of celebration are soaring much higher than the voices of the skeptics. Thank you so much, Jane Keogh, joining us there live from Juba.